In this question on sequences, we've got to decide whether the sequences are converging, diverging, or periodic. I always think with pretty much all sequences questions, the best thing to do is just to write out the first few terms in each sequence. So in the first sequence, when n is 1, what is the term going to be? Well, if we put a 1 into here, we've got sine of pi over 2. Make sure you're in radians because of the pi. So sine of pi over 2 is going to be plus 1. I mean, you can check on your calculator if you like. When n equals 2, that's going to be sine pi, which would be 0. When n equals 3, we would get sine of 3 pi over 2. That's minus 1. You could just think what the sine graph would look like for these different values. Sine of 2 pi is going to be 0 again. And if you carry on going, you should realize that this is going to start to repeat now, and it's going to go like this. So every 4 values it's going to repeat, and that's because the sine graph is periodic. Every 2 pi radians the sine graph repeats. So this is the answer is A is periodic, because it repeats every 4 terms. I think you could say the order was 4. It was periodic of order 4 would probably be a better way of saying that. In part B, I think this is a fairly straightforward one. Let's do this up here. So in B, you can see that if you look at the difference between the terms, gets less and less. So if we write down what the differences are, so the difference here is 50, the difference here is 25, the difference here is 12.5, and so the differences are halving each time. So the next one is going to be 6.25 and so on. So because the differences are getting less and less, the differences will eventually tend towards 0, and so this sequence is going to converge. I think you could say that. You could say for a reason, you can just say the difference between the terms is decreasing. It's going to converge, convergent, I should say, as the difference between the terms, is decreasing. In part C, this looks a more complicated one. So again, I would just write out the first few terms. We know the first term, U1, we know that term is going to be a 3, tells us in the question. The second term, U2. To find U2, we need to do minus 2 to the power of 1. Because if k is a 1, this will be U2, so we want a 1 here. So if that's a 2, this needs to be a 1, and we times that by whatever the previous term is. So we times that by the 3, so let's times that by 3, and that's going to give us minus 6. U3, well, work that out in a similar way. It's minus 2 to the power of 1 minus whatever one before 3 is, which is 2, and then we're going to times that by the previous term, which was minus 6. So just to clarify, we did that goes there, that goes here, and so that's 4 times minus 6, which is minus 24. Let's just do another term because it's not all that clear what's going on here. So term 4 will be minus 2 cubed times by the previous term, which was minus 24. So that's going to be minus 8 times by minus 24, which is 192. Whoops. 192. Okay, so these are the terms of our sequence then. 3 minus 6 minus 24, 192. I mean, we could work out a few more terms, but I think it's fairly clear that this, well, it doesn't look like it's going to repeat, does it? It's not going to be periodic. If you work out another term, you would end up doing plus 16 and minus 2 to the power 4 plus 16 times by 192. So that's just going to be a really big positive number, and then you're going to get a big negative number. So this is just going to keep going from big positive numbers to 2 big positive numbers to 2 big negative numbers from what it looks like. You could check by doing a few more terms, but I think it's fairly clear this isn't going to be this isn't going to be periodic, and it doesn't look like it's going to converge either. So I think we can say that this is divergent. This one, so this is divergent. I mean, the terms, it's hard, you can't really say the terms are increasing because they will go after 2 positive terms here, 192, and the next one, I think you will get 2 negative terms then. So you can't really say all the terms are increasing, but if they go from positive to negative. But I think you can say that the magnitude of the difference between the terms is increasing. So I think you could say divergent as the magnitude of the difference between terms is increasing.